It's funny. Like we had a couple of weeks off, and I was like, the first time I played, I was like, yeah. But now I'm back in. I like it. I also like just having a slider that I can go up and down. Right, welcome back. We are with Fitzy and Peter O'Hanlon again. Right, that one's for Pete. That one's because Fitzy's back. I doubled up.
What are you getting? Wow.
Oh, no.
Doesn't work.
I've been off the buttons too. Also, I don't know what they all were. At the start, I was pretty useless at the buttons, but I didn't know what they were. Whereas I already peaked. I peaked for a while there. I was like all over. I could not even look at the buttons, and I was all over it. Now it's still guesswork. And there's a couple of useless ones. I think it's this one. No, not that one. Nope. Nope. No, I use that one all the time.
The cricket.
That one's good too.
Can you assign them different sounds, or is it just locked in?
Yeah, no, you can do different sounds on it, and you can do like another bank as well, so you can get like another 8. So you can get your own intro tune, put it on there, and you can make your own sound effects and stuff. But anyway, so we're here with Fitzy and Pete. Probably should have done that before we started recording.
What other production tips can we get into?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We've got tips. That's the other problem. We can talk about me trying to work out how it works. So we were just getting on to, obviously we just wrapped up with World War Bloody Timor, actually talking about Timor, but now we're talking about the book process. I was just thinking, how long's your book?
Oh, God.
Exactly.
Like words. Word for word. Exactly how many words? 4 characters, whatever you know.
I think it's like 105,000 words, so 350-something pages maybe.
Yeah, right.
Roughly.
So that was your first book, yeah?
Yep.
And you were published your first time.
Yep.
So how does one go about it? Because that's not a walk-up start.
It's pretty straightforward, actually. Like
You're going to go back to thinking about it? How long ago, when was this?
Oh, it was a few years ago now.
Hey, we're back. I can't believe I didn't do that for like every Timor thing you talked about last time. They were all in the past. I could have pressed it 40 times.
Was it just after you got out of the army?
No, I started writing that once I got out.
2008,
yeah. And I remember telling everyone I'm writing a book, and they're like, "Oh yeah, whatever."
Yeah, cool story.
Yeah, cool story, mate.
When you go walk off into the bush and fracture your eye socket.
That's one way to kill time, buddy. Good on you. So I don't know. I stuck with it. I wanted that story to be told, whether it's mine or the Timor story, but it was from my perspective. So I kind of, had to write it about from how I seen it.
Had you done any writing before you were in the army, while you were in the army?
Never.
So this was a whole new process.
A whole new process.
Yeah.
And I approached it with like my own mindset. I never did any research or anything. I just approached it with, I'll write the skeleton of the book. So basically the stories I wanted to tell. And then I go back and then I enhance those stories. I change them a little bit, enhance them, go back, enhance them. And I did that for 10 years with that book.
So did you do, when you said you went back, so you didn't worry about the timelines and stuff, they were just memories that you had of it and you just wrote that individual thing?
Yeah, I mean, those memories are not perfect anymore. Like,
no.
So
I'd throw some mayo on a story anyway.
Yeah.
What would you? Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. To the best of my ability, I wrote them. But then, like, I'd go back. So it was over a 10-year process. So, and my mindset was constantly changing as I was maturing and evolving as a person. I'd go back and read certain parts of the book where I was probably in a different frame of mind, where I was going through the marriage breakup or not seeing my kids or something, or and I'd go back and I'd go, oh, that's so toxic, or that's so negative, or that's so victim. You've been a victim. And I'd go back and change it. And then a few more years would pass and I'd go back and be like, well, no, I need to go back, into that sort of mentality because that's what happened to me or something like that. So it was constantly changing. So I never thought it was going to get finished.
Did you have to contact anyone from the past to go over some of the stories that are in there, any of the boys?
Yeah, I basically put out a group message saying that, I'm going to use the certain times that we serve together in the book, and does anyone want to? I asked for stories. I asked for a lot of photographs, things like that. No one really reached back, and a couple of guys sent me some photos and stuff, but no one really. I don't know if they just didn't believe I was going to get it published, or if they just didn't care. But no one really helped with the process.
I think a lot of the times it's one of those things where you, like, if you start it,
Yeah.
then they're like, oh, now I want to get involved.
Yeah.
But they don't want to be there for the,
No.
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 I mean, it happens with a lot of stuff. It's like the veteran games. We had the first one. There's like 48 of us. The second one, there's 110.
Yeah.
It's like you go to a podcast and people are like, who's going to listen? Who cares? Who does this and does that? And then you start doing it. You're like, oh, mate, I really like what you're doing. What about if you – so a lot of the time it just takes one Renegade Maverick to start something and then it takes off.
Yeah. and everyone's
I'm not talking about
Burso,
me. Not talking about me,
Renegade
Fitzy.
Maverick.
everyone's
All right, Maverick.
everyone's writing books now, you know.
I'm going to name drop. Des Hunt was a pilot, used to call himself Renegade Maverick. And then we were part of his Renegade Maverick crew anytime he flew somewhere.
That's not true. Not everyone writes books these days.
Oh, I don't know. A lot of my mates are
Now they're in now.
putting the hand to pen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Rod Henderson. Oh, spare me. Can't go on social media anymore without that bloke going somewhere.
I love that guy. When he rang me, and he's like, Irish, I don't know about social media and all this stuff. And now I watch him, he's all over it. And I'm like, dude,
Mate,
he's doing it better than I am.
The thing that was funny, like he'd put something on. I was like, mate, you got to put a link on. All right, you've said click the link and you didn't put a link on. He goes, oh, all right, hang on a minute. And he'd be like, mate, just put a video up where you do it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, he'd do this video. It's like, that took me 4 hours. It's a 12-second video. I was like, you know what you need to do?
Oh, I know. I was there for that day. I thought he was taking the piss, but no, he was serious.
It's classic. There's the social thing's funny, but now but even talking to him about that, for example, he's been on Aaron Mullen. Spoke to who's that Ben Fordham. Up in Townsville now, he's in the Bulletin and all this sort of stuff. But it's funny because the reason he got on them is because he was like 2 a.m. he's drunk and he's just like whatever, I'll email him. You have me on your show. Not expecting them to get back to him. he's like drunk me. He's writing checks that Saberme has to cash. He's like, he's like, wake up and they're like, hey, mate, reference your email last night. Yeah, we'd love to have you on. He's like, oh, God, what have I done?
he was scared to put up a Facebook post. He's like, I don't know how to do that or I don't want to do it.
But it was also the same as what you're talking about where you reached out. He was like, he didn't want to tell a story where he was like, what about if other people saw it differently? Well, fuck, of course they did, mate, because they were sitting, like, you're sitting 3 meters from each other. It's still going to be a different experience.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but also, it's your story.
Yep.
So
everyone's memories are different as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember anything.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm like, well, mate, realistically, the less people you ask, the more it's your story.
Yeah.
Because the more you try, I mean, unless you're trying to make a factual documentary about something, then sure, by all means, get everybody involved and do whatever. But if you're like his book is literally called An Australian Soldier.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, mate, it's literally just your story.
Yeah.
So whether it's like whatever you want to write is what it was because it's your story. No one else knows.
Stop screaming, I'm scared too.
Love that.
Get it, folks. It's a great book. Great book.
I haven't read it, but I'll take your word for it.
So you'd obviously published your book
a
long time before, and did he reach out to you to sort of get some advice on how to go about it?
He reached out asking about the process and I told him about the social media aspect of it and how I went through it and the journey that I took and I helped him get in contact with certain people. So
has he sent you any royalties now? Since
he's horseshit, mate.
I think he put me in under acknowledgements, which is good on him. He didn't have to do that. But
hang on a minute.
Yeah, go check.
I think he's going to go check that one out.
Let's see if he did what he said he was going to do. Should be in there. Unless he's bullshitting.
Oh, good. That looks like a read.
Well, you can. I'm not reading.
I'll have a read.
I just bought it.
Check the acknowledgement. See if he.
Keep talking.
I was going to say
this could take me a little bit of time to
First
find.
few
It's just going
It'd be 30 pages.
Yeah, it was funny because
should be in there.
because we're out. I remember he asked me. He was like, "Oh, I'm trying to get a book published and this and that." I said, "Mate, do you want me to?" So I know, bloke.
Yeah.
I said, "We'll see you again." But
that's probably how he got on to me then.
Yeah, it is.
Spoke to you.
yeah. Well, because I had no idea how to do it, but I was just like, "Hang on a minute, I've already bought Pete's book."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Mate, do you?" But it was funny though because I don't even know if we'd gone on if we'd been on the Bro yet. But
that's where I first met you.
Yeah. But I remember reaching out to you. I think it was just through like you must have followed Sean or something, and then. I barely knew you, and I was like, "Hey, mate, I got a mate of mine who's doing a book. Do you mind if I chuck you on his details?" And you're like, "Yeah, no dramas." And I was like, "Well, this is pretty cool."
Yeah, no,
definitely. Never met this bloke before, and he's happy to go. And then passed on to Rod, and he put it on. Next minute, he goes, "Hey, yeah, man, Pete helped me out. Now I'm getting published. And I was like, sweet.
Good on him.
It's but it's funny because there's plenty of other people that wouldn't help each other out. That's when I was sort of like, this Pete bloke's all right.
I don't know. I like, I'm sure that's there, but I just hope
haven't
it's
seen
not.
it?
Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure it would be there, but I'd hope the majority of people aren't like that. Like, we're all here to help each other through this journey.
Ignore this one because it's not. it's not a savvy. No.
Savvy.
Yeah, well, let's just pretend.
17% off.
Yeah. But if Pepsi wants to sponsor me, they're welcome to as well. But yeah, so you got your book. So how hard was it for you to get your book published? Like, because you would have written it.
Yeah, I read it.
How long? Did you say 10 years you were writing it for?
I wrote it for 10 years, yeah.
Was it intended to go out to people?
Yeah, the whole reason I started writing it was to tell people that story. Whether it was me just healing or getting that out so I didn't have to carry it, I don't know. It's just...
Rod was saying it's, I think he was saying there's like 3 reasons that people write. It's not his quote, he stole it from someone else, but people are like, you write your story to tell the story so people know what happened. You write your story for you, for cathartic, and then you write your story for your family, for your future.
Yeah.
For legacy.
All 3 reasons, yeah.
Yeah.
Were some of my driving reasons, yeah.
Yeah. What have you got here, Fitzy?
He has, to all those writers, editors, publishers, authors, and storytellers that I've lent on. Peter O'Hanlon, first one.
There you go.
Oh, I was going to say, what? So he didn't write names? He just wrote...
He's gone through. There's a few names in there, but you're
Did he mention me at all?
Good on you.
Burson, no Burson.
No, I didn't think so. I wouldn't have met Pete without me, but that's all right. Whatever, Rod.
We'll
We'll talk about this later.
Yeah.
You should know because I rag on him pretty much every episode.
It's not as thick as my book. Mine's got a lot more pages.
Yeah, I think they used the cheap paper on Rod's ones.
Bigger writing or...
Weren't you saying the other day you haven't seen his? He's got bigger letters on his. I was going to say the people who read Rod's book have got a lower IQ, but I've got 3 of his books, so I didn't want to rag on myself.
You haven't read them.
No, well, and this is the other thing. Like I haven't read. I don't want to say it either, but I haven't read Pete's book either. But I've had it for a lot longer. Al's reading it though, so. It's funny, other people have read books I've bought, but I don't. I'm like, oh, you should read this. It's a good book. And then when they read it, I'm like, tell me about it. But
there's a few good ones out there now, actually. There's some really
Are you going to do an audio book for yours?
I don't know. I reached out to the publishers and they haven't really got back to me. I think it's... And I don't want to rock any boats because obviously I've got the second book ready to go, so I just kind of want to leave it at the moment. But I did speak to a mate of ours who spoke to a mate of his who's in the movie industry.
Here we go.
And,
you and Rod.
No.
To voice it?
Yeah, to voice it. Someone...
You're talking to the same bloke.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth.
He's a mate. A mate of ours may pretend to be another bloke who's well off.
That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
So-
8 people trying to get that bloke to read their book.
He might hopefully put the feelers out there and he might do it.
Well, I might try and get him on the podcast as well while we're there. We'll just rein him in.
Well, there's another bloke who I was on Kane with as well, so we're looking at him as well.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Early days.
Yeah, that's cool. Why wouldn't you read your own book?
I don't know.
It's funny because there's a lot of people I speak to that would rather hear the book read by the author, but I know a lot of people don't want to do it. But you do acting, so it's
I could do it.
Like voice is part of it. So
do it.
And it's I'm just wondering why you wouldn't want it. Is there any reason, or you just would rather old mate reads it?
Oh,
if
I could get old mate, I think
or?
there's more credibility there.
Do you think that's been called old mate? Probably wouldn't if we then named him afterwards. But it's just funny because I don't know if people are doing it because they reckon it's going to have more credibility if someone else reads it, or if they just don't want to read it themselves.
Don't know, mate. Don't know. I mean,
it's a long time.
I've read that book so many times, and I probably never want to read it again.
So like Goggins, for example, because it's one of Fitzy's favourite friends. He reads his own book, but he doesn't read it. Someone else narrates it. Yeah. But then they stop and he has anecdotes. So he'll be like,
that's a good idea.
So they'll read it out and then old mate pipes up and then he's like, Goggins will be like, oh, yeah, I remember when that happened actually. So this was the behind the scenes of it and it's rah. So there's that's sort of another way you could do it if you can get someone else to read it and then you're there and you can just add anecdotes. So it adds to the book because it's the book plus something then.
I think there's certain people out there that have a better voice for it who can kind of tell those stories in a, I don't know, more narrative documentary type way. Who knows? Rather than me going through it.
I mean, don't get me
emotionally.
wrong. Morgan Freeman reading anything is amazing. He could read a Pam.
David Attenborough or something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different level.
But yeah, it's funny though because I just find it's just different if somebody's who's written the book is then writing it because there's none of that. It doesn't when you write a script and then the actor reads it and the script writer will be like, that's not how I saw that.
That's
going.
not how I saw it.
But yeah, like if it's your book, I mean, you'd probably if old mate read it, you'd just be like, yeah, whatever you reckon, mate. Yeah.
Then how much is he going to charge? You know.
Yeah. But
I won't make any money.
I don't know because the first audiobook I listened to was Matt Best. He does that. Thank you for my service. Have you read that?
No,
me neither. But I heard the audiobook. But I've got the book and I've seen the pictures. But it was the first reason why I got into audiobooks because he read it himself and he's so good at reading his own story and because he knows the story, it's him.
Yeah.
So you're never going to get somebody who's doing it.
Yeah. If I narrated it, I'd definitely give a better understanding of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It'd also be an interesting way that you might get into voice acting and stuff. Like that might be a whole new thing that it opens up. But
and to be honest, it was my first book, so there's a lot I learned from that, and there's a lot I want to do in the future that I learned from that.
Would you want to re-edit it?
I think I would in the future.
Yeah,
retitle it, different title page, and maybe do the audio at that same time.
Okay. Yeah. What sort of stuff would you change about it?
They changed most of it. I think they took out about 5,000 swear words or something in the first edit.
Maybe that's why Rod's book's so small. This was all just him swearing because he was scared.
The amount of red pen I had on it when I got it back the first time, I was like, holy shit.
But was it red pen because it was just written like a 2-year-old or was it red pen because they were like, you can't say that, mate?
A bit of both.
Yeah.
A bit of both. It's written like a 2-year-old. It was just very much, my humour was a lot darker.
Yeah.
Some of the stories I told were like brutally honest.
Yeah.
And they just took them out. And I spent another 6 months once they edited it, toning it down for them. Like there's certain stories I said, you can't have this unless you use this word, just because the words I used were just too brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were stories in there that I wanted to keep. And they said you can't keep them. So I changed the words so when they read over them again, they didn't realise it was the same story. It was just a lot smoother for them to read rather than just the brutal honesty.
So can you write like Timor up late? So it's like remember Big Brother up late? It was like Big Brother was like, oh yeah, that's fun. And Big Brother, like, oh wow, right, that's loose. Yeah. It's weird that a publishing company would. I guess they've got. Do they have an image or something? Like
well, it wasn't them. They weren't handcuffing me or anything. It was more, do you want to get it in Big W?
Right.
And I was like, of course I want to get it in Big W. Well, you can't have it in Big W with. Yeah. The original title was World War fucking Timor, which is a story. I told you about Paul Cale.
Yep.
But they said you can't have that.
Yeah.
And I'd focused so much on the book, I'd never even had a working title.
Yep.
So. The publisher got back to me and said, how about World War Bloody Timor? And I was like, yeah, sure, that works. And then with that, changing that effing fucking to a bloody, we could get it in Big W.
Yeah.
It's little things like that.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Like they remember Rod when he was trying to tell me about the book, he'd taken it to before he got it onto you, he'd taken it to a few other people and they were just, nah, you're not having that, mate.
Really?
No. Yeah, they were just trying to cut his story so much. Oh. Like, you can't have that, mate.
Yeah,
you can't speak about that. You can't do that. No. And then, but he went to is it Big Sky that he was?
Big Sky, yeah.
Yeah, and he went to them and they were just like, nah, love it.
They're amazing.
Love your story. Let's go it.
If any military publishers out there, I'd reach out to them first.
Yeah.
He come to me with that and I basically told him my story. And from memory, I think he was worried about changing his story.
Mate, the things that they were going with, they were going to say the Australian soldier.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not wearing that.
Well, good on him because I changed some of my stuff because I didn't want to rock the boat. I was like, if this is Virgin, I'm getting published, then it's like I'll play the game. Where I think with Rod, he was this is the story. This is how I want to tell it.
Yep.
Good on him.
But would you go back and change those again? So when you said that there's some things that you would change, would you change it back to how it was, or do you think the advice that they gave you was pretty solid advice?
No, I think getting into the Big W and all that was a help. It's Australian Post took it Australia wide, which is, I think, if it wasn't the way it was now, I wouldn't have had that.
Yeah.
So, and that was for a Father's Day special, so I'm pretty proud of that.
It doesn't take away from your story if it doesn't.
Not at all.
It's different if it changes the whole narrative to your story. But if you just like, they're like, hey, maybe don't mention that part where you're doing that weird stuff with the chicken.
Yeah.
You know, like if they take that part out of it, you're like, yeah, all right, I probably don't need that in.
I was just grateful to get it out there. I never thought it would reach that point. So I was just grateful that it got to this point.
I remember seeing it when I went to, it would have been Kmart or something. But anyway, I went past and walking past it, and I saw your book there. I was losing it. I was like, Pete, I found it. I found his book. It's amazing. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And I went and bought it, and I was like, yeah. No, obviously never read it, but it was like, but it didn't matter because I wanted to be able to buy Pete's book, and the fact that you can see it in a store is a massive thing.
I think that was one of my best days was Mum and Dad, me, and I think my older brother who served as well. Mm. He's a copper now, a detective or something. But we'll walk around the shops, and Mum runs in, and you know she nearly got tears in her eyes because she sees the book in Big W, you know. And Mum's old school; she comes from different generations. So seeing her son on the shelves in Big W, you know, she shopped there her whole life, and here's her son and a bloody bookshelf in Big W. She was like, "Oh my god!"
Mate, anytime and it's funny because anytime you see a mate of yours doing something, like I love it. I'm all about it. Like when I saw you on Kane.
Yeah.
Mate, watching Kane was so good. Like, you know, there's Tommy Archer. I've never met the guy in real life.
Tommy.
We speak
Tommy.
online.
He's a great bloke.
But like seeing him on that thing, and then when he was on what's his TV show? That's one. Boy Meets World. Yeah. Yeah, because he was in there. Like he's got a couple of parts there. It's just funny though because that character he played in that is not anything like any of the other roles I've seen Tommy play. He's some nerd some nerdy journalist dude. I'm like, that's not Tommy. It's like I showed you his short film the other day, and he's just a mad Austin instructor. He's like all these drill movements
just
are so
too much for the movie. Sorry, Tommy, but it was too much, buddy.
Just
calm it down for those types of films, bud.
Dial it down to 11, man. He was like 17. It's like, even his off safe,
but it would be hard for him because he's his instructor, and if someone called him out on some movement in the movies, but at the same time you got to be like, you can't.
It looks shit on the movie. Mate.
Yeah, it looks shit, Tommy.
To be fair, it didn't look shit, but it looks over.
It's over the top for that kind of film.
It's as an instructor, he is spot on like all the movements. It's so rigid. It's like he should have just been like this, do that.
When his hands like off safe.
Oh yeah,
I'm off.
He fires. I'll show you afterwards.
I didn't say go.
Yeah. To your left, by numbers 1.
But I understand where he's coming from because when I was military advisor for a film, I remember like I was doing up range cards. I had the weapon. I had the machine gun staked. Yeah. And the bloody
where's your arc of fire?
The director comes in. He's like, Irish, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm advising you, sir. He's like, no, I'm going to see. I'm not even going to see that, mate. I'm just going to see this. And I was like, show me the frame, and he shows me the frame, and all my range cards and all my shit's not even in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, right, gotcha.
Just to backtrack on ragging on Tommy Archer all the time. The reason I got into podcasting is because he made a podcast. So I'm actually a bit of a fangirl over Tommy, but I love ragging on him in the meantime. He doesn't even hear this, so eventually he'll be like,
he won't listen to this.
No, maybe one day when he's.
So you finished your book, and mum and dad have seen it. Pretty good days.
Yeah.
How long after you've got out of the military is this?
I got out in 09 or something, 08, and would have published that in 22.
Okay, 22. Right. So it's a long time in the making. Long time
Yeah.
But even so, I saw it in like Target or Kmart or whatever it was, like on the shelf. But I had to like go and look for it. Yeah. And then like I think it must have been the Father's Day thing that you were talking about because I went past a bookstore over in Warm Ponds around here, and it was on a table. And like as I walked past, it was one of like 8 books that was facing out into the walkway when I went through. I went past, I'm like, so what's going on there? You're like, they're pushing it now.
I think they did
like 12 months later or something.
Australia Post picked, I can't remember, 3 or 4 books for their Father's Day special, and mine was one of them. So with that, it went all around Australia in every post office, Australia Post in Australia, which really pushed it.
That's actually quite a large deal because you're always at the post office waiting.
Yeah.
And they've only got like 5 books to pick from.
They got some cool stuff in there too. Like they got cool little knickknacks and stuff in there, little like the books and stuff that are in there, they're cool. Like it's a good place to sort of
but like if you're
find little presents and things.
Yeah, but if you're in Dimmicks, for example, like it's full of books. It's like good luck. You're looking for a book. You need to know. You're in the post office. There's literally 5.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those 5, that's
my royalties.
Why'd they pick it?
My royalties for that was great. And then the 6-month period after was like,
yeah, that hurts. Yeah. Why? Why'd they pick it?
I don't know. I just got told that they've
So it wasn't like
been chosen.
You didn't have like an agent or your publisher
Just
didn't push it?
The publishers might have pushed it.
Okay.
They didn't. I don't know what happened behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I just got contacted by the publisher and they said it's been chosen for the Father's Day special. And I kind of had to ask questions. Oh, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It was the same with the Big W stuff and that. They were like, okay, Big W have accepted it. I'm like, Big W? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, wow, that's Big W. And they're like, yeah. Like crazy. How did that happen? And they said, well, you changed the title, which helped.
You listened to us.
Yeah, like, remember that time we told you that thing? Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, meanwhile, they're sitting there going, we rolled Peter on his first order.
So you've gone from military, you've started writing a book. You said before that after you left the military, you were doing some crazy sort of stuff where you were like going to do 50K, but you'd do it without water to try and hurt yourself. Yeah. I had a quick look at your social media and I see that you'd looks like you get out and about and do a bit of travel, and there's lots of photos of you out in the wilderness. And tell us about that.
Yeah, it's like, as I was explaining before, initially it started out as some sort of self-healing journey. Well, I don't know. I can't really understand it myself. I used to go out there and just try to, not so much hurt myself, I just tried to push myself.
What it was
like a David Goggins thing, but nowhere near that level. You know what I mean? It's like he'll go out there and he'll run 100 and 200K ultra marathon and he'll have a broken ankle or something and he'll finish it. And that's just that mindset. I look at...
To be honest, it sounds very similar to me, what you're talking about.
Yeah. I look at that kind of individual and that mindset and I strive for that because I see, I don't know, maybe I'm different than most people. I see the average person and I think we're destined for more than going to Kmart, going home, having a beer, watching the footy and a cigarette and getting in traffic and going to work. That's the average human. And I think I never wanted to be that. I always thought, the worst thing you can call me is average.
Did just going out and being in some of those places, did that change? So I know you were out, sort of going out to hurt yourself, but at the same time, not exactly trying to hurt yourself, but you were just trying to, challenge yourself to something.
Yeah.
When you were out there, were you finding that you were really enjoying being out and about and sort of going, this is kind of a cool place to be. I'm sleeping out under the stars. I'm seeing things that others aren't.
Yep. And I felt like I was helping people. Like I felt like just that, like I'd post one little thing, even though it might have been out there for a week or two, I'd put 2 pictures on social media and I'd get a lot of response back about it. And I felt like I was helping other people, even though I was helping myself. So it was a win-win.
What were you eating when you were out there?
I think I was hitting up mates who were still in for ration packs and things like that.
I think the going out to hurt yourself part sounds a little bit self-harming.
Yeah, I don't want it to sound like that. I was not any way trying to.
The way it came across more is that like you were going out hoping that you got into some shit so you could get yourself out of it.
Yeah,
it's like I used to. Yeah, I used to do stuff where you'd get into a situation where you're like, oh, this could turn pear-shaped, and then I'm going to have to get myself out of it, or whatever, because you're just waiting for something to excite you because everything else is so boring all the time.
Yeah. The only thing, I was expelled at 13. I didn't do well in school. The only thing I ever succeeded in was the military. Like I was saying to you before, I was a good soldier. I consider myself a good soldier, and I hope everyone else there who served with me says that. So I never really had anything to fall back on. Just that mindset that I've always had is what's pushed me in my life, and I try to say it's like a David Goggins thing. But on a very much smaller level, obviously. So, he's out there and, the way he does it, he's probably battling with himself. He's probably been through a lot of stuff and this is his way of battling.
In no way does his body sound like it's better off because of his behaviour. No. Both his knees are cooked with this and that. Like it's going to come it comes at a cost.
It's coming at a cost, yeah.
But
that mindset, but on a much smaller level, is how I look at it.
Well, I think the S theory boys are like seek discomfort. Yeah. Other people are like get comfortable being uncomfortable,
100%.
whatever it is. Like no growth comes from you being in your comfort zone.
100%.
So I think it's like that sort of thing. But like so for example, like me out of my comfort zone is me going, if I run to Fitzy's place and back, that's me out of my comfort zone. Fitzy needs to run.
I do live 40K away though, so like
that's 400 meters.
It's a long way.
But like me, like me literally just going for a run 5K that's me. I'm already out of my comfort zone. I'm done. But Fitzy has to run 100K.
Yeah.
So it's like if I kept running 5K, I'd probably have to run 10K.
Yeah. And I think everyone's individual, and when it comes to what makes them uncomfortable, what makes them comfortable, I think I couldn't do what you do. I couldn't do 100K runs. Like I'm just not designed for it.
Probably not this week.
No.
I think if you
put your mind to it, you would.
You said something before about the Goggins thing, and Chris always says to me, I hate Goggins. Like, it's not so much that, but I don't see him as this crazy special human. I know that sort of might sound funny, but I find that a lot of people in the military have a very similar mindset to his.
Yeah.
I think he's dangerous, some of the things that he puts out there for people to go and do that. There's a difference between a lot of military people that go out and go and challenge themselves. They've been in a place where they've learnt to hurt themselves over time. They haven't just gone out and gone, I'm going to go and do this silly thing. They've gone through the training, lots of different things that you've done in your military career. I think you'll find that really helps you to be able to go, right, I know that what most people think is hard, I know that I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that 10 times over, and I still might not be at the end of what my body will allow me to do.
Yeah.
So I don't sort of mean to smash Goggins, but at the same time, like I don't sit there and think that like he's just this. No. He probably is like a bit of a supreme athlete, all that sort of stuff. But the mindset, I think it's very much a military one.
There's a lot of people out there like him, and he's just the most famous, I suppose, we can kind of talk about in that mindset. But like I said, like I hadn't achieved much of anything but being a good soldier. So getting out, I had no idea of how to expend that energy or expend all that training I had learnt and all this stuff I had in my mind. Getting out, there's no one wanted that. Like, where can I utilise it? And the only way I could do it was create my own kind of thing.
But normal life doesn't have all of those challenges either.
No, and that's
like you come back and you're like, right, cool. Like I joined the cops because I was like, well, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not going straight to civic. Yeah. Can't just do straight civilian life. But it's, like you get up and you're like, oh, I've got a Teams meeting today. Cool. Yeah. I better do that Excel spreadsheet by the end of the day.
It's a good way to expel that energy and fireys and paramedics.
Because it's still the same stuff. It's like you still got those life or death decisions. And
that's what I should have done.
At any point, you're like, all right, the radio can go off and that's it. Where I'm in a shootout or in a car chase or realistically, I've got a noise complaint. Like it's probably what I'm actually going to. But like there's always that thing where you're just always ready to. It could be today, could be the day. Yeah. Whereas that's not my day anymore. Yeah.
Well, my brother, I look at him as an example. He's institutionalised. Like I love him to death. Yeah. But he was Army 15 years, and now he's been a copper for 20 odd years, and I worry about him if he gets out. Like I completely.
What are you going to do?
Well, he's safer in the coppers, even though it's a tough job.
Yep.
Than if he got out.
Yep. No, we had a dude at my last unit. He's like 60 now, I think. Still goes he would still go into the GAN every what they call it, the end of fighting season, because he was a reservist, so they were going over like winter, so it wasn't mad contacts all the time. But at the start, the end of it, there was obviously all that sort of stuff, and he'd go there for that every time. He was going there, and then when we pulled out, I was just like, "What's this dude going to do with himself?" Because that was his outlet, basically.
Well, you see those boys who do their 5th, 6th, 7th trip, and they're just weapons. They're just absolute weapons, and then they get out, and then that's them done.
Yeah.
That's it. So I don't know, something about that mindset or something about that world that we gravitate to and we love, and then once we're out, we struggle trying to find it or understand it.
So part of your exploring, obviously, is trying to just give yourself some purpose again.
I think so.
Yeah, okay. And that makes complete sense to anyone that's been military. It is very different once you're out and then going, okay, what is my purpose now? Yeah. What do I need to do? No one's telling me I have to be anywhere anymore. I don't have to do anything. And that is a hard thing when that's all you know. So yeah, I think a lot of people can understand.
I never understood the term self-starter in a employment category until I got out of police. So I did Like I did 9 army and then 11 police, but like I started at this time. I had to do this. I had to do that. My jobs were based off the radio call coming in. That's my job. Now it's like, especially work from home, it's like I've got to get up and do stuff like that. It was the first time I understood self-starter because there's no dedicated start or finish time. So I may do a 12-hour day because I'm bored and I've got nothing else to do. So I'm doing 12 hours. And another day I'll be like, I'm sleeping in today. It's just funny. The regiment is so much different. So now there's all these terms that I saw on these. Must be a self-starter, able to be self-motivated. This thing. Well, obviously I was doing it. But then I'm like, well, I wasn't actually. I was going to get my ass kicked if I didn't get it, if I didn't start at a certain amount of time. So, yeah. It's funny.
You're accountable.
Yeah,
now,
so it's funny seeing civilians.
For yourself,
Civvies have got a different sort of hardship thing where they've got to motivate themselves to do stuff. Before I was motivated by, like, nah, you're in the shit, mate. You're late or whatever.
I didn't mean to pick on all those people who have a 9 to 5 early.
No, screw them.
Screw them. They're not going to
listen to this. So don't worry about
it. So acting. How'd you get into that?
From memory, I think I was, again, the purpose thing. I was looking for something different.
How do you even get into acting?
I don't know. I think I
still trying.
You call? Is it the book people that you call and go, hey?
No,
it's movies before book.
I was looking. I don't know what made me lean into that. I don't know. I've never had a history of theatre or.
Did Sean get in yet? Because that's how I got into it.
I started, but Sean was doing stunts. I was doing my own thing. So we hadn't even known about each other in the same industry. It wasn't until he put me up for Dora, and we both got on Dora as mercenaries.
The Explorer.
Dora the Explorer. Whatever.
Some wiggles.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
So that's kind of when we first met. But that was about 2 years into.
You'd already been doing stuff.
Yeah, I'd already been doing a few things. From memory, I think I just reached out. I was looking for something online, and that came up. 2006.
What was that? What was the first?
It was an Australian indie film called Occupation. It was like a sci-fi type thing. And I remember being on there, and I kept trying to tell them, I'm ex-army, like, cause, that's what I had under my belt type thing. And then I started helping them with face paint, like doing the camo on their,
face paint. I love
they had no idea.
What was the movie? So
it was like a Independence Day type sci-fi thing, but with Aussie soldiers and stuff. So I was helping with that. I was helping with the uniforms, and then they took notice, and they were like, "Oh, Pete's helping with all the army stuff. I was helping the art department. I was helping makeup."
Sorry, what was that movie called?
Occupation.
I feel like I've seen it. It's in like dudes like paratrooping down and whatever, and then there's like a bunch of redneck Aussies just hiding in the hills and stuff.
Yeah, it's like
a different one.
Like that. But yeah, that's. It
was actually cool. That's why I was like, I actually like that.
Did you give him any catchphrases? I'm big on watching Australian movies and seeing them fuck up the catchphrases.
I fired the director made me fire a 66 and look back at the camera and do a fist pump. So, that's kind of what I'm.
Is that your BBD clear?
Yeah. BBD clear. No, I just started helping them with wherever I could, and they were super grateful because they really hadn't had someone come in from that discipline, the military discipline, into the art discipline or the movie discipline, and really be able to do both roles.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I remember one of the like the ADs, the assistant directors that come in. They're like, if you can see something, help them out. Literally, the only thing you ever tell them is like, take your finger off the trigger. It's literally the only. You want to look real? Just take your finger off the trigger, mate. Stop doing it.
I seen some funny when I was teaching them like how to move with the weapon and stuff, and they'd like bunny hop and all this sort of shit.
Oh, really?
I actually have a job here. I can go deep into this. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, mate, I've been doing like extra stuff on this film at the moment, and the amount of lasering that is going on, like, look at this.
Yeah.
And it's weird because some of the firearms are just rubber, so it doesn't really affect my time in the house. But other ones, they've got working parts on them and stuff. I was like, hey. Like, people are like, look at this, I could cock it and stuff. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
It's funny, the armor on that, because I'm on the same one you are, and when I went down there, he walked past me and he told me, "Do you want to clear the weapon?" And I looked at him, I went, "Are you fucking X2 RL?" First thing I said to this guy, and he's like, "Irish."
Oh, really?
I hadn't seen him in 20 years. He was one of my diggers when I was an instructor at Albury Wodonga.
Oh, really?
20 years ago. And here he was as an armourer, and here I am on set. And it's like, buddy.
That's the closest I've had for that sound effect work.
and it's funny, like remembering his face after 20 years, I just said, are you Tuaria? He's like, yep, Irish. Something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't believe it.
Oh, that's cool. It is funny because I've seen him on, I did a thing called Scrublands, and I was like an MP, literally just had to walk someone in. And he goes, right, here we go. And he's like going through the weapon. But even just like how I took it from him, he was like, oh.
Yeah.
That's right, same dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just funny because when you receive it, you're like, yeah, clear. And he's, oh, don't worry about it. He's like, well, that's yours for the day. You're like, it was literally because beforehand I'd been at other things that he'd been at. And he's like, right here, and you take it and you get it back. And he goes, right, I need it all before anyone goes anywhere. Give it back. Yeah. Whereas he just gave it to me. He's like, yeah, cruise around with it for the day.
All over it.
Yeah, I did like 3 robberies, but it was fun. But yeah, that's interesting. But you so. Were you doing stunts first, or was it literally military advisor first?
I was military.
Acting, and then you pointed out that you
was extra acting, helping with the art department, helping makeup, just helping as much as I could on set, just making them need me.
Yeah,
basically.
Cool. Yeah. And then is that so? You did that, and then you're like, "This is for me," or
yeah, there was a lot of similarities to the military, like
Really.
Yeah, hurry up and wait. You know,
it's so hurry up and wait.
That sort of thing.
You know what the biggest difference is? Eating. So like eating, obviously you would let your diggers eat first. Like that was always the one rule where the diggers came first was food. And not like that in the movie. No. You get paid the least. You
eat last.
Yeah, if you get to eat. Because they're like, right, and we're rolling, and you're like, you're still 4 deep in the line waiting to get to food. They're like, hey, we need you over here now. And you're like, oh, spare me. Come on, mate. Like they just treat you like scum as an extra.
I did extras for a while, and I was like, never again.
It's funny too because it's not even really how you get into acting. No, like it's a
different level ball game. Extras, like I think you do yourself. You're doing yourself harm by staying as an extra.
It's almost a disservice. So like, and I spoke to one of the other extra boys who were on there. They're like, I swore I wasn't going to do this anymore, but I was helping. I was helping the casting agent out by turning up. He's like, I'm not doing this again. I audition and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's what's funny about it is go there as an extra to see what it's like, but an extra isn't what being an actor is. It's like you are a prop.
Yeah. You're a human prop.
Yep. Yeah. You are literally just, if they could make you out of paper mache, they would rather that. But
But yeah, saying that, like I've been an extra and I've been in good scenes where you're seen. I've featured extras, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I think someone who's starting out is gives them a bit of credibility.
It's definitely a way to see if you're into it, but it's not like if you've been an extra in 45 things, that doesn't mean you're going to get a shot at an actual role. You actually need to audition for stuff if you want to be an actor. But also, I've seen some extras do some weird shit trying to be an actor.
When they're trying to jump in front of the main actor, and some of them I've seen over the years, and I've just gone, mate, you're not helping your career there, buddy.
There's a part of this scene that we were doing. It's like a selection course, and they're like, mate, they're literally you're support, right? And then like the main cast are supposed to be fitter and faster than everyone else, so they've got to run past, right? And these guys are running up a hill like they're racing each other. And you're like, well, for starters, these other guys have been doing the same, running up and down the hill for the last 3 weeks before we got there. And now there's like these young kids that are like 18, 19, and they're sprinting to try and beat each other up the hill. You're like, that wasn't what was read out to you. That wasn't what the scene is. And now the actual stars have to try and beat these people up there. And you just see them, the crew are cooked. Like the cast are cooked, mate. They're trying to get up there. Because these young kids are just sprinting. I'm like, you are support. It's a team. As extras, you are whatever it is they want you to do, and it's about the other guys. You're just there in support. Just do your role.
Yeah. It's interesting because I remember being a military advisor, those guys who were just wanting to be on camera, those guys who just thought they were actors as extras, I would just say, mate, get out.
Yep.
I don't want you. You're interfering. Get someone else in.
Yep.
So it does a lot of disservice for them.
So you started off doing, like you said, you were doing a bit of makeup, giving them a bit of a hand or just anything you could. And then how did you – so you've gone back now as a military advisor. Is that –
Yeah, so the second one was Occupation 2. There was a lot of small indie films and stuff in between there and smaller projects and stuff. So I was kind of getting my feet wet and learning a bit more after that first one. And then Occupation 2, the director asked me to be the advisor.
Good. So
on
you
that
made
one.
an impression on that first one.
I think so, yeah.
And did you also get any acting parts? So
Yeah, I had a...
So what's the difference? An acting part, I have no idea here. So you have to actually...
About 3 times the wage.
Yeah, but do you have to actually audition for the role, do you? Or
It depends on the size of the role. I mean, if they know you and they trust you, and it's not a big speaking part, you know, I looked the part. I played like a bodyguard. So I looked the part for that role. I had a few lines here and there, but nothing special. But
So we met on La Brea.
Yeah, La Brea.
Did you audition for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I auditioned for that one. Yeah.
I didn't know.
were you an extra?
Yeah. Yeah, but I was an extra and then I became a non-speaking bit part.
There you go.
And even that, right? So that's one thing.
So they renegotiate your wage?
Yeah.
They do that. Oh, they do?
Yeah. And not just that. I went from being an absolute like scum-sucking leech that nobody liked to I had a person bring me a shawl. I had an umbrella. They were asking me if I wanted sparkling or distilled water in cans. I had my own little tent thing.
You know you've made it when you got that sparkling water.
It was so crazy.
I know you two are working on something. Are you getting that level where you are at the moment? No.
I am.
You are?
Yeah, Pete is. Yeah. but even at La Brea, right? Like Pete was an actor. Oh, look, me and this other dude, we were just extras, right? And then, but it was funny because Pete overheard us all talking because a lot of us were all AJs as well, and Pete heard us talking. So it's like he had the actors hanging over there, but he could hear us going, "Oh, remember when we were doing this and doing that?" Pete goes, "Oh, I used to be in the army."
Remember when?
Obviously, it didn't sound like
remember
that.
remember when the whole cast turned up, and I'd been in the actors' tent for about 3 or 4 days, just hanging, you know, cool, looking at all the plebs over there in the extra tent. I had the heaters and everything. They were bringing me lunch and stuff, and then the whole cast rocked up for this one. There's about 20 of them, all the top dogs, and I was trying to make my way into the tent, and the casting or whoever come up to me and goes, "Oh no, Pete, you go over in that tent." Yeah. And I'd been kind of like, you know, paying them off the whole time. Chris is like, "Oh, you're with us now, are you?"
Yeah. How the mighty have fallen.
It was so embarrassing.
And not just we had to push this stupid cart up a hill, right? It's just battle PT. It was horseshit. Yeah. We had these 2 donkeys on the front of this this cart that they were dragging up a hill.
This is La Brea.
Yeah. Yep. But these poor donkeys were on Struggle Street, couldn't get the thing up. So like these 2 donkeys were cooked, and then so we had to help the donkeys push the thing up. Yeah. It was one of the hardest PT sessions I've done because you had to do it and then go down and do it again. Yeah.
And then like freezing, reset it.
Yeah, and then they're like, and reset, and you're doing it again. They're like, oh, we just want to do a different angle and this and that. And it was funny to this Belake or Blake, whatever you want to call him. He was at the top of the hill and he could see us after the first one when we got up and got over the top, and he was like, "Oh, how bad is it?" And we were like, "In a minute." But it was funny because Pete realistically could have just been like put a finger on it and not done it because he was an actor. So they're like, "Oh, you know, Mr. Pete, don't exert yourself too much," you know. But obviously, we were like, "Oh yeah, go on then." Yeah. I was like, "I dare you to not put in Pete." Like, he's like, "You want to be an actor or are you an AJ? Look, what team are you on here?"
I'm back there like, "Chris, you push. I'm going to try and get in front of the camera, mate." He's like, "Yeah, all right, Pete." Make me look good, Chris.
Yeah, it's just funny. But other dumb. Look, we had some other stuff that happened. This one guy, he was there. He wanted to be a stuntman, so he's decided that him as an extra is going to be him auditioning for stunts. It was like, they had all these little fire pits and stuff that were around, right? Which is probably like, I don't know, Hexy or whatever it is that they had on there. So they have little fires on there and then they put gas through them sometimes, but it's literally just like little bits of Hexy that just burn the whole time. It's like firelighter or whatever. And then this one guy, so me and Jared were cruising around. They shaved both our heads, and then this is when we became non-speaking bit parts. So we went from being scumbags to actual people. And then they were like, "Right, you two," because we were the same height, both 40, both blue eyes, white boys. They got us as like we're basically the bodyguards for the head bad guy. And then so we just followed him around. That was our job. But then when he wasn't doing a shift, they still had us. They're like, "We may as well use them." So they're like, "Oh, we need you guys to walk around and just bully everyone." We're like, "Done." You are welcome. Anyway, we walk past and this one guy goes to us. He goes, "Oh, when you come past, bump me and I'm going to launch myself over this fire pit and then like I'll do a roll or whatever. It'll look really great in the background." We're like, "No." I do not want anything to do with this. he's like, no, it'll be sick. They'll love it. I said, I just said to Jared, I'm not walking anywhere near that unit. And then Jared goes, yeah, cool. So we split up. And he walks past him. And this dude, Jared, didn't even go within like 2 meters of this bloke because he didn't want him to do anything and pretend it was Jared that got involved. This dude like comes over to Jared, bumps him, runs backwards, flies backwards, puts himself over this fire, right, which is hexy. So now it's like stuck on him as well. So it's not an actual fire. Like it's firelighter. It's not a charcoal thing that's just going to go out once you like smother it and stuff. And then, yeah, it's like, cut. Because now there's a breach. Yeah. There's some dude's on fire. It's a safety breach. It's got to be investigated. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. So now we're like 2 hours down because some idiots has just started throwing. He's obviously now off. Yep. But it's 2 hours behind that we've had to do an investigation for to go, why did this happen? You're like, well, literally nobody touched him. He actually just threw himself on it. So they're watching the video to make sure it was seen and doing all this sort of stuff because they're like, well, we're going to get sued for someone getting burnt or whatever. And then like, no, this idiot just threw himself on there trying to be an extra. But like that 2 hours, there's probably 300 people getting paid. Mm. So like it would have cost them $200,000 probably for this 2 hours of everyone waiting because one guy was like, this is my big break. And you're like, well, it was because he ain't going to do something again. I guarantee you his name will be thrown out.
So saying that, like you've spent some time, doing all these different things. You've already talked about armourers, that sort of stuff. So I don't know if you know where I'm going with the armourer type stuff, but in the US or was it in Mexico or wherever it was?
Yeah. Right.
Can you guys see how
Baldwin?
Yes. Eric Baldwin could have got himself into this situation, and I think it's the armourer she's been locked up, hasn't she?
I honestly don't know, like the amount of checks and balances that even, trained people do.
I can think of it a trained point of view. I can't sort of work out how it could possibly happen. That's what I'm wondering.
I understand where Baldwin could have been like, well, you gave me a gun and I don't know any better. I can understand where he would be like he still pulled the trigger, obviously.
When you're given a gun, though, do you have to check it?
100%. Yeah, everyone has to check it.
All right, lock him up. Baldwin's guilty.
The safety goes around with the armourer if they're doing the job right or whatever, and they're both checking it. The actor who's receiving the weapon is checking it. Not just the housing, but the magazine as well.
It's funny.
And I don't.
Baldwin's done a lot of movies, hasn't he?
Actually, there was one incident I had years ago where the armourer, and I was only trying to get into the industry then, so I didn't say anything. But the armourer's got weapons on set, and he's a gun nut. Obviously, he's an armourer. So we're on set,
like anywhere else. He's a loose unit. Here, they're like, congrats, we need this guy.
Yeah, we need this guy. Absolute tool.
Guns?
Absolute tool. But he's gone out during lunch. So everyone's assumed these weapons are clear because he's been there half the morning.
He's just buggered off into town.
He's gone into town to get lunch. He's come back and he's shown me what he's bought from the weapons store. And he's got live rounds.
Chicken salad, Coke, weapons store.
So he's talking about what he's doing on the weekend hunting. So he's brought these rounds he's bought from the hunting store onto set.
Oh.
He's the armourer. He's got weapons,
cleared weapons
in his Pelican case, and he's brought live rounds onto set.
Yeah.
So there's a series of things that could have started there. I had a go at him. I said, mate, come and have a chat because I didn't want to do it in front of everyone else. I said, listen, man, I'm ex-military, and I just chest poked him. I just pulled his head in hard, and hopefully I got him fired. But don't know.
The ones I've been at that have had weapons, we've literally said that they've called it and they went, weapon on set, anybody who wants to come and clear this weapon is welcome to come. So you'd have like 25 people who come up and have a look. Most of them are like, anyone who was military would be like, I'm having a look. So they'd come up and then they'd hold it. Obviously you'd have the, in the bolt, the chamber, et cetera, et cetera. But there'd be plenty of people that go there and go, because they don't know what they're looking for.
Don't know what they're looking for,
But there are good armourers that would be like, hey, do you want to clear this weapon? And then they'll look at them and they're like, yeah, that's clear. And he goes, do you know what you're looking at? And they'll be like,
yep.
No. He goes, there's no shame in it. He goes, I would rather you tell me that you don't know what you're looking for and I'll explain it to you. And he's like, these are the 3 places you need to pay attention to and do whatever. But there's other armourers who would just be like, yeah.
But it even happened with Blanks on a music shoot in Brisbane. That guy that got shot, the stunty.
Didn't they not have a BFA or something and a shard came out?
Yeah, it was a BFA and they didn't have a BFA, yeah, and I think he packed the round too much.
Yeah.
So a shard come out, got him in the chest.
My BFA came off in basic training somewhere out and we were firing rounds. And I remember being like back behind people and they just said, yep, play on. So here's me.
Yeah, because it turns into a bolt action.
Yeah, the old, like.
But then when I was
it was the Steyr, but there's you've got no pressure, so the thing's
that's
not.
what I mean. It turns into a bolt action.
It's just a bolt action.
So
and
loud,
play on, and it was blowing my eardrums out. And they're like, well, you lost it.
Oh, and you would have had no hearing protection as well back then.
You lost it, and there's like, I remember firing it, going, Jesus, it's like. There's and I'm sort of going, I'm going to hit someone with this, but no, they didn't care. Play on.
It happens. Like you don't realise how much it happens. When I was an instructor at Kapuka, we had the recruits doing a section attack for the end of the course thing, and a live round went off. And what he had done is he'd been at the range, he had accidentally kept the round somehow in his webbing or something.
Accidentally. Yeah.
Didn't want to get in trouble, so the best way he thought to get rid of it was to shoot the fucking round.
That is Jude mentality.
That's the story. Somehow he's passed that off.
That's his mentality.
That's Jude mentality. That's 100%. He's like, I can't be found with a
BFA on the weapon and everything.
That was his biggest issue.
Unless it's he's packed it in with the rest of them and not realising it was in his webbing or something, but he's fired it.
That's literally why we do that. I have no ammunition around.
What happens when you fire a round into a...
Oh, just
smashes
the barrel.
Nothing good.
Just imagine a lot of people shitting themselves on that one.
It's not something you can then hide.
I would have loved to have seen it, but from a long distance.
Yeah. You don't
from at least like 4 people down.
A long way away.
But, what did those guys do that I had nothing to do with?
Yeah, it happens more than you think, actually.
Wow.
No matter how many checks and balances, it just seems to keep happening.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Yeah,
realistically, because it's funny though, because you do like you look at the SF boys or whatever else it is, and the amount of potential there is for that to happen, but because you're so on it with safety and stuff that it should be that. But like, movies, it should be next level safety.
Yeah,
but I think the other problem is your director doesn't know what he's looking for. Your assistant director, so you might have 25 people check it, but there might only be 2 people that know what they're looking for.
What they're doing, yeah.
That's the other issue is like, you're like, well, hang on a minute. If everybody, like, say, for example, Baldwin might have 0 idea what he's looking for.
I wouldn't have
just gone.
So. I'm guessing that Baldwin would have done a lot of stuff by now. He should probably know.
Well, that's the thing. He's probably been worked on films with armourers in the past.
I'd imagine
and so. It's his career to understand that needs to be cleared.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like having a PA that does everything for you. Like,
not when it comes to weapons.
No, I know.
Everyone's responsibility.
But I can understand where his argument would be. Well, I've had 3.
You can all understand where his argument's going to be. He's going to have that argument so that he doesn't go to jail.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But at the same time, like, I can see why. Like, you look at how actors are. Like, even just going from me being a extra to a non-speaking bit part, how people treat you is so much different. Like, Mr. Baldwin, like, we've all cleared it for you, mate. It's good to go. You'd be like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, did he even clear it? Or did they just give it to him? They're just like, mate, it's definitely cleared. We all cleared it.
Well, I think that's half the problem is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
if everyone's supposed to clear it, then there's the issue. There's an issue there.
But for example, anybody hands us a firearm, like I don't care who gave it to me. I'm clearing it, obviously.
Yeah.
But as an actor, you're just like, oh yeah, cheers, mate, thanks for that. Like handing over, taking over, like you'd be like, yeah, clear, it's empty, it's this and that. Like we would explain to ourselves the state of the weapon. It'd be pointing at the ground or the sky or whatever it is, either way you'd want it, and you'd hand it over with a. And it's funny because I gave it to Timor, I'm like, even the rubber one, I'm like, yeah, it's the magazine facing towards him, so like that stuff will never leave us because it's been drilled into us. But other people are just like, yeah, catch a knife.
Yeah,
it's a different scenario.
We come from that different training, so we look at it quite differently, I think.
Yeah. Safety is so much different. And like aviation safety versus ground safety would be different, but firearm safety on soldiers and stuff is different from aviation safety, like with firearm.
I don't know. I think
Shut up. You guys diesel bath everything.
Mate, we don't have diesel bath.
Don't you? Every time I went out, the Mag 58 went straight in the diesel bath.
Not
the Ramey boys would be like, hey, chuck it in that. Don't worry about it, mate. Or it was CRC. You'd be spraying it with all this.
That's probably the Ramey guys that are, like, have stuff to do with vehicles. Black Hawks don't go anywhere near diesel.
Man, it was great. They cleaned them up beautifully. I mean, we had these half 44-gallon drums. People just chuck them in.
Oh, God.
Charcoal
We spent hours bloody
came straight
with
off
a
it.
toothbrush on that thing.
Yeah. Hey, you just soak them in diesel, mate. They just come straight off. I don't know how good it is for it. It's like...
Where are they now?
Yeah, exactly. Just bought new ones. Anyway, I think what were we talking about? Movies. It was like,
Movies and, just in the industry. But you've worked on a lot of different things now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now you've had some parts where you're nothing to do with advising, or you're still doing that advisor role.
I'd really like to do the advising role.
Yep.
I really love that role. I think I do it well, and I think with that safety stuff that we're just talking about with weapons and that, I think
it's obviously important.
Being a military advisor there would help that situation as well, stuff like that. To have someone with that kind of knowledge on set.
How much of your time is this a full-time sort of gig that you've got with the acting?
I wouldn't say full-time. Like there's definitely blocks in between films and stuff that, nothing's happening, but it's about that self-starter.
Is that full-time acting though? Like, because like a lot of the other ones I speak to when I go there, there's like you've got your makeup, your film crew and stuff like that, and they're like, we work every day for 4 months.
Yeah.
And then they're all talking about their trip to Europe afterwards.
Yeah.
Because they disappear. So I'm just wondering if it's full-time because they're like, well, we actually work every day for 4 months. Because some of them do. There's like first and second set unit and stuff like that. So someone's always working when they're on it. But, like Pete's got weekends off at the moment, but that's only because they haven't decided someone else is working on weekends.
Can you talk about what you're doing at the moment?
I don't know.
Sure.
Oh, good. Oh, we're onto something.
sure.
What do we got here?
No, working on something pretty big at the moment.
Can we talk about, have we got any big named actors?
The thing that's funny about it is it's in the, I don't know, because it's
Are
in
we
the
allowed
media.
to talk about that?
I don't know.
We're definitely not allowed to release photos. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah, no.
But
Don't get yourself in trouble.
No,
but the cast has been named, and it's been.
But are we allowed to talk about?
I don't know.
That's what we're doing with that cast. I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know.
You better
Doesn't say
not. You better not.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone in trouble.
Yeah.
Burso would love you to talk about it.
Well,
But actually, he'd get himself in trouble. So
yeah,
no.
true.
Maybe I should be the one pushing for you both to release it.
get
If
it.
you say it, I'll just deny it, and then. But
Well, the thing is, I feel like you could probably name the cast, but you can't give anything away with the story and all that sort of stuff.
or
It'd
not
be-
mention the name or something. I
Okay,
don't know.
is it a movie? Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah, it's a
it's
a large
It's a movie.
It's gonna be
It's going to be a big movie.
yeah, it's like Lionsgate and Netflix.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite substantial.
Straight to Netflix, or are we going to have?
No,
Office
like
release.
it'll be. Well, I'm assuming it'll be theaters
Who knows?
because I've seen other ones that Lionsgate and Netflix have done. Come out in movies first.
Oh,
and
sorry, you're talking to a complete novice. So
Lionsgate is like a
production
large
company, is it?
Yeah, like production company.
MGM type stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, so it'll go the way it looks like, because I've seen other Lionsgate movies that have done it as well. They go to a movie and then it goes exclusive to Netflix once it comes
Okay.
out. So it's streamed in the theaters and then, it goes on in the theaters and then it's streamed on Netflix.
Because obviously you're not just doing movies. You said before Kane's a movie?
Yeah, Kano was safety. I was an actor and producer.
Yep.
It's a Sean Barry produced thing as well.
Yeah.
So do you produce that with Sean?
Executive producer. So
How do the producers work? Because there's like 4 different ones. But
look at a producer like a staff sergeant who's trying to organise all the admin, trying to get all the locations sorted, trying to get the police escorts, get the traffic control. They're basically doing that where the director's just focused on the film, the actors are just focused on their performance.
But you've got what different you said there's like an executive producer and then there's assistant producer and stuff like that.
Yeah, so like an executive producer is basically someone who's put money towards the film. And then,
So are producers also investors then?
a lot of them are, yeah. A lot of them are. Because if they know they're going to make money on it, they get paid on the film and then they get their royalties or whatever their contract is once the film's successful or not.
Yeah. So the executive producer, like what sort of, is that like the top producer or is there an?
No. So the producers...
It sounds very executive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The executive producer is just someone who's put money into the film, who's helps market it or basically can, depending on how much money you put in, is how much sway you can have on set and talk about the story or the direction. But
Does that help you though for future projects?
I think so. So after I did that with Sean, I got contacted by major individuals about, helping produce their films as well. So they must have received the email or something and just sent out.
As in they did
constant.
Did they want you as investors or they want you to do the job?
No, investors.
Right.
Sean Barry, he's very good at that job, and I don't want to do his job. I'm not that type of person. He's very much the people person.
Right, his coattails there.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Let him do the hard work.
Yeah.
What is it? The settlers perish. No, the explorers perish, so the settlers can prosper. Yeah. Good job, Sean.
Yeah. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
Put me in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, on that, is there an aim? Is there an aim? How far do you want to take this?
I think my initial goal was to be a supporting or main actor in a large Australian film. That's kind of in a military. So military type role. I know my strengths, and even if I'm like in this movie now, I can definitely see myself as a supporting actor to the main cast or one of the main cast. I think I'd be very, very well adapt into that.
I mean, yeah, we've got some great untold Australian stories that would be really good.
Yeah.
As movies, and we've talked a lot about one in particular. We still literally love the movie.
Yeah. Danger Close.
Yeah, Danger Close.
Were you on that?
One of the actors in this is
Trav Fimmel.
No.
Hang on. Are we allowed to talk about?
Talk about Danger Close.
Danger Close.
Been done.
Okay. That's all right. That's all right.
You can talk about movies once they're out.
Okay. No. So I mean, you just said though that this guy.
Yeah, Travis is in this. Well, I don't know.
No. It's someone else. One of the other actors is in this one as well.
Oh, okay.
Which one's he? Which one's Travis?
He's Ragnar.
Oh, Ragnar. That's Ragnar.
Yeah.
Right.
He's the one that
I'm terrible with people's names. I know the guy.
Fitzy loves it because I
love Ragnar.
Yeah, there Ragnar goes. He's like, we're not here to fuck spiders, are we, mate? Or like, his delivery of it was just like, that's not.
All of them are wrong. There's so many of them in that movie, and it's my favourite one to show people to go, that's not right.
Yeah, the line is correct.
All the lines are correct.
The delivery maybe not
off,
but the timing. Like
off.
It's just not
it's just not right.
Yeah, it's like
you can't even put a finger on it.
When in Rome, you're like that doesn't really apply here. It's classic.
Yeah, all the Yanks are going around on this set. We're not here to fuck spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. They love it. They
love a good.
So the socks on caterpillars.
Oh yeah,
not here. The clean version.
Yeah. They've gone PC now. So
not here to put socks on caterpillars.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah. What was the other one? Because Luke was telling us.
Yeah, Luke's got
not here to put bloody worms on hooks here or something. Like it was just.
When he said it, I looked at him like, no, I haven't heard that one.
Yeah. So a mate of ours got out and he was running this boot camp.
He's a younger fella.
Yeah, and he was like, I don't have any dudes. Can you guys rock up? Because I'm trying to get more dudes. And we're like, you picked the wrong dude to get involved. I mean, Fitzy was fine, but
I was good. I went for filming.
Yeah. I was like, I rocked up and I was all right. I'll do it because you're black. But one of the boys. Let's get around it. But but he'd be going. He was just giving us all this PC stuff. Like, not here to put socks on caterpillars. I'm like, I'm going to stop you right there. What was that? What do you mean by that?
Come on, mate.
Settle down. Either you talk about spiders or I'm not doing it. I'm not interested. But yeah, it's hilarious. I was like, is that really where we're at now, mate? He goes, He goes, we're not here to bait. We're not here to put worms on hooks or something as well. Like it was just random. Like we're not here to put.
He's got. Look, don't get me wrong. Some of them are pretty good, but
his delivery was great. He's like, we're not here to put film in camera, or just there was haircuts. Not here for a haircut.
Oh, because I don't remember his.
Yeah, it was just so many other. Just stop, mate. It's just you're upsetting me.
So, is there anything in mind that you would want to see that you'd really be up for? Is there a particular Australian story that you can think of that you are waiting for it to come up?
Oh, I spoke to this is a while ago, Paul Cale. Bram Connolly.
No, don't know who he is. That doesn't mean anything.
Ex Special Forces guy. He's written a couple of books. He was looking at getting one of his books made into a film.
Yep.
And he suggested me playing the role of Paul Cale, who's a well-known Australian commando who does a lot of kinetic fighting and stuff like that. I don't want to go too far into it because I don't know exactly what he does, and I don't want to disappoint him. But yeah, but that was
you're scared of him.
Yeah, I'm scared. No, so so I think I don't know if that's in the works now, but something like that. When I was told that information, I was pretty excited, and I hung out with him and I was watching his demeanor and who he was, and very interesting character.
Have you got any interest in like writing scripts and stuff, like being a writer or an actor?
I think with my next book, it's a good segue, mate. I think with the next book.
Well, I'm at an hour and 10, so do we want to segue already? Or?
Oh yeah. Okay, I'll get back up.
Yeah. Anyway,
no, not really. I'm gonna keep writing books.
Yeah.
I think just keep my stories, and if someone picks it up, that'd be great.
Yep. Cool. Do you want to get into your book or not? The second one?
Well, there's not much to really talk about. I've written a second one, and hopefully it gets picked up.
Well, if you're happy to keep yarning, mate, we can come back because we still haven't mentioned the fact that you're like number 7 in the world world or
no,
Australia,
bloody world. Yeah, Australia. Oh, that was last year. Depends on what year.
arm wrestling champ.
Oh, I did see some arm wrestling actually. I did. I forgot to ask about that. Yeah.
So we've got arm wrestling. We've got writing your next book.
Yep.
We can probably talk a bit more about producing and stuff like that. Getting into it.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Well, let's have a time out. We'll come back.
Just do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? Just do it. Simple.